We're here with Representative Lloyd Smucker, who's running for re-election in the 11th Congressional District. Representative Smucker, thank you for having us. Tonight you held a community budget forum. Talk a little bit about the importance of doing this and why you wanted to give folks this exercise.
Sure. Well, I serve on the Budget Committee. I'm the Vice Chair of the Budget Committee. I serve on Ways and Means, so we deal a lot with budget policy. I talk a lot about the fiscal trajectory we are on. It's unsustainable. It's going to affect future generations. And this is a way to talk to members of the community about that. And it's a great exercise. This is the first we've done it, by the way. We had one last night in York County and this one this evening. But folks are sitting around the table with people they may not agree with. It's a bipartisan group. There are Democrats, Republicans here, independents here. And they're literally talking about how they could potentially balance the budget or at least find savings in the budget over the next 2 years. And so it's a great experience just from that perspective, individuals talking to one another and trying to figure things out. But it also, I think people get a better understanding of what we're facing in the budget. You know, we're taking in, last year we took in about $5 trillion and we spent $7 trillion. So $2 trillion is being essentially borrowed, and that's just completely unsustainable. Today we spend almost $1 trillion in interest annually. That's more than we spend for the military. Think what we could do with $1 trillion. Whether you want to provide services for individuals or whether you want to cut taxes, think what we could do with $1 trillion. Yeah. So that's what this is about. It's been a great exercise. We got great feedback last night, and I think people are really enjoying themselves here this evening as well.
Well, talking about spending, the budget is always a big topic, especially when it comes to the election cycle. Another big topic that people are talking about is the Iran war. We want to get your thoughts on it, especially when you talk about spending. We know that the American taxpayer is paying over $1 billion for this particular war. We know the administration said they would come in and would lead with peace with strength, but also no new wars. So just give us your take on where things are right now and also where you see things going, especially because this did not have congressional approval.
Sure. I think one of the primary responsibilities of the federal government, of Congress, of the president is to ensure the safety and security of the American people. Iran has been for almost 50 years the prime sponsor of terror. They've been talking death to America, death to Israel. There have been over 1,000 Americans killed by Iranians in those decades. And they were about to get nuclear weapons and building missile capacity beyond what they currently have. And so you just simply could not allow that to occur. They would have been much more dangerous to the Middle East and potentially even to the American homeland. So I think this was long overdue that we take out their ability to develop a nuclear weapon, that we take out their ability to continue to build missiles. It would have become much more difficult to stop them in just a year or two, making it a much more dangerous place. We hope this is done, and take out their Navy, by the way, is important as well, but we hope this is done quickly. Much of that of those goals have been achieved already. We want to ensure, I think the president wants to ensure that the strait is, that oil is moving through the strait, and hopefully will end. We don't know, depends what the Iranian people do, but you know, they've been living under that repression for a long, long time, and hopefully we end up with a government for the Iranian people that is much better for them as well. Certainly that's what they wanted. We saw protesters just a few months ago. Tens of thousands were killed by the Iranian government, so there are many people there who would like a change. We don't know if that's going to happen, but I think what we do know is that whoever is in power, and whether if they continue to be enemies of America, they will not have the ability to do the harm that they could have done and were about to achieve.
Well, and speaking of that, because the president and the administration has talked about the imminent threat, but people have not exactly been able to mention what the exact imminent threat is. There are folks who are saying we kind of followed Israel into this. So are there any clarifications that you want to give your constituents, especially since they are seeing that taxpayer money go?
It's interesting. We saw a missile that was fired that traveled about 2,500 to 3,000 miles. I'm not even sure that we were aware that they had the capacity to do that. So I think perhaps the threat is even greater than what we knew going in. They were certainly working to achieve nuclear weapons, and we know that to be a fact.
And you spoke about the Strait of Hormuz. People also want to know about these gas prices.
Right.
They're seeing pain at the pump. The gas prices keep going up. What is your word to them as people are having to now think about budgeting on their own, thinking about if they can afford gas, meals, insurance premiums? What is your conversation with your constituents when it comes to that?
Yeah, we don't want to see the high gas prices. We want this to come to an end quickly. We want the oil to be flowing freely, and I think then you're going to see the prices drop back down. So we hope that happens as quickly as possible.
Yes. Is there any word on when that could potentially come? Because we know that even if this war stops, we know that it would take some time for those prices to come down. Has there been any conversation about that?
I don't know exactly when that will occur. Obviously, it'll be when we've achieved all of the objectives that we need to achieve in Iran to ensure the safety of Americans, and hopefully that happens as soon as possible.
And last question, President Trump today, I'm sure you may be aware, did sign that executive order with the mail-in ballots, wanting to create that list of who he would call federal voters, and then sending that to the post office for them to be able to say, these are the only people that can vote. Do you have a comment on that at all?
I haven't seen that, so I'm not aware exactly of what you're talking about. What I can tell you is this: the American people support voter ID. They support showing ID when you go to vote. We use ID all the time, many times every day. They support ensuring that voters are indeed citizens and are qualified to vote, and they want the elections to be safe and secure. So that's important. People need to believe that their elections are secure. We want to ensure that every voter that can legally vote is able to do that easily, and that we're not counting any votes that shouldn't be, anybody that shouldn't be voting.
Yeah, this was just reported, again, just a couple of hours ago. President Trump signed an executive order that aims to create federal list of citizens and asks the U.S. Postal Service to transmit mail ballots to only those people. I do understand what you're saying, but there are some people who are taking some confusion or a pause with that because states control those elections. So what do you say to the folks who feel that the federal government may be getting a little too much involved instead of giving that power over to the state?
Well, I haven't seen that, so I'm not able to comment on that, but we want to ensure that every legal voter has access and it can easily vote, and anyone who is not a citizen, who should not be voting, cannot vote.